Alrighty, everyone, from that clickety clack sound, it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanos. This is episode 19, season 1. Today's date is October 2nd, 2022. And thank you for joining me today. Here is today's lineup for the program. From the 1950s, I will talk about the TV crime drama Decoy. From the 1960s, the television sitcom Captain Nice. From the 1970s, the superhero series The Amazing Spiderman. Also from the 1980s, the comedy drama Beverly Hills Buntz. From the 1990s, the TV sitcom Arsenio. From the 2000s, the television drama Kane. And from the 2010s, the TV sitcom 9JKL. Whew. So it's going to be a very interesting show. And I will talk about its history, its cast, and memories of watching these shows. Okay. But first, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by No Nonsense Pantyhose. I remember this commercial. And here's and the commercial is from 1979, and it features actress Susan Blanchard. I'll talk about a little about her when I come back. She's a very interesting lady, very pretty. So sit back and relax, everyone. Thank you.
Brand new from Paris. I wouldn't exactly wear it to the supermarket. For the same money, get a whole wardrobe of wonderful things and still have enough for a year's supply of no-nonsense pantyhose. That's smart shopping. No-nonsense are sheer, they fit well, they're cool because the cotton line panel is ventilated. They fit you and they fit the way you live because you get no-nonsense fit, no-nonsense comfort, and you get it at a no-nonsense price.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for No Nonsense Pantyhose. That product is still around. I haven't seen it lately, but I checked on the internet. It is available online. I'm sure you can buy it at a drugstore, a Walmart, Target. I'm sure it's there. I remember they advertised this quite frequently on television in the late 70s and 90s. And the spokeswoman was actress Susan Blanchard. She was an actress. She started a few TV shows, but she's best known as playing nurse Mary Kennicott Martin. And on the soap opera All My Children, she was there in the 1970s. And her husband was actor Charles Frank, and he played Dr. Jeff Martin, very famous character on All My Children. Then they got married, and then they starred together in a couple shows. She's best known as there was a sitcom that was very brief. It was called Mr. T and Tina. That starred Pat Morita. We'll talk about that show someday. I remember watching this. She was in there. She's very pretty, kind of cute, and I know she's still acting. I haven't seen her lately. So, but as for her husband, he's still acting. I remember him on a primetime soap opera that aired one year. It was called Emerald Point NSA, and it was a good show. I have it on DVD. I bought a bootleg, so had a good cast, and didn't take off. From the same producers as Dynasty, they created that, but it didn't air it on ABC. It aired on CBS. So that's so. I remember this commercial, famous, pantyhose. There was also Legs. Remember that with actress Julia Prowse, and also Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company. Pantyhose is a big deal, but women today, they don't wear them anymore. Not really. I don't think so. Times have changed. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I explained the lineup of today's show, so I'm going to get started. So the first show I will talk about is Decoy, and that is a crime drama. And this premiered on October 4th, 1957, ended in July 7th, 1958. aired for 30 minutes. It was syndicated, so it didn't air it on any network, and had 39 episodes, and black and white, of course. And this starred actress Beverly Garland, and I'll talk a little bit about her in a moment, but I'm going to talk about the plot of the show. So she was, her character's name was Patricia, quotes Casey Jones. She was a female police officer. This is one of the earliest shows that showcased a police officer that was a woman, and she was an undercover cop, and she played a lot of roles like gun malls, hookers, nurses, singers, and she had no partner. She worked, but she had, I only saw the show a couple times, and not on television, but on YouTube. And I liked the show, and she was very good in that, and had a lot of guest stars in the show. Lots of guest stars. They had Edward Asner, Martin Balsam. They had Peter Falk, Colleen Dewhurst, Vincent Gardenia. Larry Hagman was on maybe a couple episodes, maybe one. There was also Diane Ladd, and let's see, Suzanne Plachette. She was in that, and believe it or not, the show is on DVD, the entire series. I have not gotten it yet, but I will someday. I like to buy it, for my collection, because most of the episodes are in public domain, because of rights and all that. So right now, I'm going to play the theme song of Decoy. When I come back, I'll talk about a little more about Beverly Garland. She had an interesting career. Okay, so sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Decoy. Let me talk about Beverly Garland for a moment. She's been in acting for a long time, and she started in a lot of television shows, classic ones, if I should say so. And she was best known also as Barbara Harper. That's the woman who married widower Steve Douglas, played by Fred McMurray in the sitcom My Three Sons. And that came later on in the years. And I remember watching that. And she had her daughter, Dodie. And she was also best known as the mother of Kate Jackson. And as Dottie West, she was in the CBS television series Scarecrow and Mrs. King. I haven't seen that show in a while. I used to watch that. It was pretty good. And she did some movies, just a few, but a lot of television shows she starred. Wanted Dead or Alive, Zane Green Theater, so many. Laramie, you name it, she was in there. And she was also, what she did? She was on the TV show Planet of the Apes, based on the 1968 movie. She played an ape with she, they put on makeup and all that. And also she played on Twilight Zone, Kung Fu, Mary Tyler Moore Show, and last she appeared in the television series Seventh Heaven. Remember that way on the WB. That's funny like that. And she also had her own Holiday Inn, and because she ran a lodge, like a hotel, like a motel, and it was called the Beverly Garland's Holiday Inn, and then it was renamed the Garland. And I don't know if that property's still there. I have no idea. And unfortunately, she passed away on December 5th, 2008. She was 82 years old. So I liked her. I remember one. She appeared on Lois and Clark, and I think she played. I think Lois Lane's mother. I think she, because I remember Terry Hatcher's mother, who played, the actress who played her mother. It was first Phyllis Coates, the first Lois Lane in the Adventures of Superman. Which I remember that. So that was great. She was a wonderful actress. I liked her. Okay. Next up, I will talk about Captain Nice. Oh boy, this one's a dilly. I remember this very well. And here's a little history of that. Captain Nice was a sitcom. It premiered on January 9th, 1967 on NBC. Ended August 28th, 1967 on Monday nights. And it only ran for 15 episodes, so very short. And there was a similar series on CBS on Monday nights. It was also called Mr. Terrific. We'll talk about that someday. And the plot of the movie was there was a chemist. He worked for the police department. His name was Carter Nash, and that was played by William Daniels. You're best known as the voice of Kit on Knight Rider and also on St. Elsewhere. And he discovered a secret formula. When he drank it, it transformed into Captain Nice, like a real superhero. And so it was funny like that. And also in the cast was Alice Ghostley, that played his mom. And she's best known as Esmeralda on Bewitched. Also as Bernice Clifton on Designing Women. I loved her in that show. And there was also Sergeant Candy Kane. That was played by Ann Prentice. She had an interesting life. I'll talk about her in a moment. Also in the cast was Liam Dunn as Mayor Finley, and also Byron Folger as Mr. Nash, but he was not seen. He was like off, he was reading a newspaper. You heard his voice. He was in a lot of television shows. I remember him from Petticoat Junction in the later years. And the series was created by Buck Henry. We all know him. And who co-created Get Smart. Wonderful show. And so I have this show on DVD. I bought a bootleg in a comic book convention, and I watched it. Not the greatest quality, but it was amusing. It really was. And I remember one guest star was on the show. It was Joanne Worley before she started on Laughing. She was on the sitcom. She was in there. So, and she was very calm. She didn't yell or scream or laugh. Not really. Okay. And the show is not on DVD officially, but it is officially in Germany under German subtitle. There's no English subtitles, so maybe you could find it if you want to buy it, help yourself. But I'm waiting for an official release. I don't know if that'll happen. I doubt it. I doubt it will. So I'm going to play right now. I'm going to play the theme song of Captain Nice, and then when I come back, I'll talk a little bit about William Daniels and also Ann Prentice. This will be fun. Okay, so sit back and enjoy. Thank you, everyone.
Look, it's a mango flies around like an eagle. Look, it's the enemy, the hole that's illegal. Look at the muscles on those arms, they're like hammers. Look,
it's the nut who walks around in pajamas.
That's no nut, boy. That's Captain Nice.
Nice?
Nice.
Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Captain Nice. Kind of catchy too, like that. Actor William Daniels, he's best known as not just the voice of Kit in the Knight Rider series. He's also as George Feeney in the sitcom Boy Meets World. I liked him in that role. He was pretty good in that. And also St. Elsewhere. St. Elsewhere, he played, what was his name? Let's see. Dr. Mark Craig. He was there for the entire run, and he was not a very nice doctor. He's just nasty like that. And his wife, he is married to Bonnie Bartlett. They've been married for a long time, and she appeared. I think she appeared on the show, St. Elsewhere. I think she did. He'd been acting forever. He was in a lot of TV shows. I remember him on Night Stalker. He was also probably the last appearance he did was Grey's Anatomy, I think it was, or a major role like that. And he was best known in The Graduate. He played Dustin Hoffman's father, and he was like, kind of pushy man, trying to get him to, go into that. But that movie is, I liked the movie, but it was kind of somewhat disturbing. Like people were nasty toward Dustin Hoffman's character in The Graduate because he slept with Mrs. Robinson. Well, he was forced to sleep with her because she was so what's that word? Persuading. Believe me, she was. So, believe it or not, he's still alive. He's 95 years old. God bless him. That's great. I think I saw him on television about maybe 1 or 2 years ago. Still, he's still with us. Thank goodness. Yeah, wonderful actor. Also, in the sitcom of Captain Nice was Ann Prentice, and she was a very interesting person. She's the sister of Paula Prentice, and she was married to Richard Benjamin, and they co-starred in a television sitcom called He and She. I like that show. I will talk about that someday. And so Ann Prentice did, I don't think that was her first TV role. She did other television roles. And she was in Get Smart. She was in Hogan's Heroes. She was in Beretta. A lot of movies. California Split. The Out of Towners, she was in there, and let's see what else. Then her life turned to the worse. I don't know what happened to her. She just snapped, and then she was she was convicted for assaulting her father and making threats of other members of the family, probably. Paula and Richard Benjamin, so that was, you can imagine the what was going on with that. And then she was convicted, and then she tried to hire, and she attempted to hire an inmate to kill her father, her brother-in-law Richard, and also her sister. Oh my God, that was bad. So she was sentenced to 19 years in prison. I don't know if she was insane or not. I don't know. She just driven. It was horrible. Unfortunately, she passed away on 2010, January 12th, 2010. She was 70 years old. So what a shame. What a shame indeed. I watched her on Captain Nice and the other sitcoms I mentioned. She was very good, very pretty. But I don't know, life takes weird turns. You can imagine. Okay, next up we have. This is interesting. The television series, The Amazing Spider-Man, based on the comic book series. I remember watching this very well. So here's a history of this. It ran for 2 seasons. It aired on CBS. Debuted September 14, 1977, ended July 6, 1979. And the show was about the superhero, Spider-Man. His alias was Peter Parker. And had an interesting cast of that, and the actor who played Spider-Man was Nicholas Hammond, and there was J. Jonah Jameson, his boss, and that was played in the pilot by David White, who's best known for Larry Tate on Bewitched, but he just appeared on the pilot. I remember watching the pilot, and then the actor who took over his role was Robert F. Simon, and he also started to be in Bewitched. He was Samantha Stevens' father-in-law, the first one. Also, there was Chip Fields, which we know as Kim Fields' mother, from Facts of Life, and she was famous for her role on Good Times as Penny, played by Janet Jackson, her abusive mother. Oh my gosh, she was terrible. Also, there was Michael Pataki. I remember him, and I remember him from Batman. He was one of King Tut's henchmen. Also, in season 2, there was Ellen Bry, and she's best known in St. Elsewhere. And the other characters from this Spider-Man comic book series was not just Peter Parker or J. Jonah Jameson. Also, Aunt May was in there, and also there was Robbie Robertson. He was in the Daily Bugle. That's where they worked, and also there was a scientist called Farley Stillwell. A lot of people will remember him. He was the scientist responsible for creating the villain Scorpion. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you would follow, the comic book, you would recognize him. So, as usual, J. Jonah Jameson, he was just nasty, demanding, yelling all over the place. Just like in the cartoon series in 1967, also in the movies, like that. So I forget the actor's name. I can't think of him. So offhand, so I'll find out in a moment when I come back, when I play the theme song. And I watched this show. I liked it. The funny thing is, like Villains, it didn't have his rogues gallery. Like, for example, Green Goblin, Electro, the Vulture, Sandman. Let's see. Did I mention Vulture? Yeah, I probably did. And he had wonderful villains. Nothing. Other supporting casts were not in there as well, like Mary Jane, who Peter Parker eventually married, Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, no. Flash Thompson, no. So maybe they needed that. That's what happened in Wonder Woman. They needed the villains, They needed so people will recognize that. I liked the show, and Nicholas Hammond was a good Spider-Man. I liked him a lot, and I first watched it when I was in high school, first year. And I watched a few episodes, but I got a little bored after that. I mean, it wasn't exciting. I don't know. But ratings was good at first, but then it just canceled after 13 episodes. So that was that. So right now I'm going to play the theme song of The Amazing Spider-Man. And when I come back, I'll talk about Nicholas Hammond, the actor who played him. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the introduction of The Amazing Spider-Man. The actor who played J. Jonah Jameson in the movies was J.K. Simmons. I remember him. He was a funny man. So, and, he was like comic relief for that. That's a funny thing. And then, but I'm going to talk about the actor who played Spider-Man was Nicholas Hammond. And he is best known as Frederick Von Trapp in the 1965 movie The Sound of Music that plays every year on television around Christmas time. It's a wonderful movie, with Julie Andrews singing and all that, and it's lovely. It's a lovely movie like that. And he also did what he's famous in television. That is an episode of the Brady Bunch. And that was his character's name was Doug Simpson, and he asked Marcia Brady for a date. And the classic scene was then when Peter and Bobby Brady were playing football in the backyard, and then I think Peter threw the football and hit Marcia on the nose. Oh, my nose! I remember that, and she was very self-conscious about that. But the thing is, she had another boyfriend. I think it was a friend, and he asked her to go out, but so she wanted to go out with the football player because he was more interesting, more exciting. But and then she realized, no, yeah, to be honest. Also came up with the famous line, "Suddenly something suddenly came up." That stuck in my head, and a lot of people remember that. And it's a classic Brady Bunch episode. He also appeared in a lot of daytime soaps. He was on General Hospital. He was on Hawaii Five-O, and then later on, he was in primetime soaps, Falcon Crest, Dallas, and then I think he moved to Australia and did acting there. So yeah, I think he still lives there. So but that's what I remember from Doug Simpson from the Brady Bunch. Still a classic episode. Okay. Next up, we have the comedy drama Beverly Hills Buntz. Beverly Hills Buntz. I always say Beverly Hill. It's Hills. Gotta say that. That was a spin-off of the police drama Hill Street Blues, and I remember this show very well. And this premiered on NBC November 5th, 1987. Last aired April 22nd, 1988. Had 13 episodes. 4 were unaired, 30 minutes. And that starred Dennis Franz. You all know him from NYPD Blue. Always had a scowl on his face. That man never smiled at all. Hardly. Didn't crack a smile. I don't know. He was just down in the dumps about a lot of things. And he played Norman Buntz, and he appeared. Let's see. So yeah, he was on Hill Street Blues. He was not an honest cop. No, he was not. So the spinoff was that he moved to Los Angeles, and he became a private investigator. So so he quit the police force over there on Hill Street Blues and then moved out. And then because what I understand, I don't remember watching him on Hill Street Blues, maybe a couple episodes, and he was very good, very convincing. I like him. He's a wonderful actor. And so also the people in the cast were Peter Jurasik as Sid Thurston, and Dana Wheeler Nicholson as Rebecca Griswold. And she was in a lot of movies like Fletch, Tombstone, Fast Food Nation. And she appeared on a lot of television shows. She really did. And one character from Hill Street Blues that made an appearance on the show was the character Erwin Bernstein, played by George Weiner. He was on a lot of TV shows, so he appeared in that. So that was the only one. And so Dennis Franz's character Norma Buntz got into, got involved with cases. Some were funny, and very impatient man. So this was heavily promoted. I remember that. It really was. And it was in between like the big juggernaut Thursday night shows, Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, Night Court. They used that. That was classic 80s, lineup. Oh my God. It was wonderful. It was amazing like that. And so right now I'm going to play the theme song for Beverly Hills Buntz. And when I come back, I'll talk about a little more about Dennis Franz. So this will be interesting. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Beverly Hills Buntz. Got it right. Let me talk a little about Dennis Franz, and he's best known as NYPD Detective Andy Sipowicz. Sipowicz. Ooh, terrible. From NYPD Blue. He won 4 primetime Emmys. Wonderful actor. Also, let's see. He was born in Maywood, Illinois. Where near me, and his father was a baker and a postal worker, and also his mother was a postal worker. So I read somewhere or heard on television that he was a mailman too for a little while. They got him the job. And then he served in the Army after graduating from college. And then he began his acting career at the Chicago's Organic Theater Company. I remember that. And then he started also he played another role in Hill Street Blues, not Buntz, but he played Detective Sal Benedetto. And his character, he kills himself in that in the season. So yeah, I don't remember that, but from what I heard, he was very convincing. And then he was he worked with Brian De Palma, and he was in the movie Body Double. I remember that. And he also, and after that, he was cast as Andy Sipowicz in NYPD Blue. He was a very very good actor and like that. And let's see. So after the show was done, it was canceled. He just retired. He he wanted to relax. So that's nice. I'm glad he's doing fine. He's doing okay. Also, he was in the movie The Fury that was filmed in Chicago. I remember that when they filmed an old Chicago amusement park like that. So, he was in Psycho 2. He was in Scarface, Die Hard 2. Oh, I remember him Die Hard 2. He was a real badass. But I heard probably he's a very nice man, very relaxed, very likable. But when he's on television or movies, he's a different personality. It's amazing like that. Well, very talented man. I like him a lot. Okay. Next up, we have Arsenio, the TV sitcom. I remember the sitcom very briefly. So this premiered on ABC March 5th, 1997, ended April 23rd, 1997. Only 7 episodes, very short-lived, short-lived. And it starred Arsenio Hall. You remember him from his talk show from the late from the 90s, and also starred Vivica A. Fox. She's best known for a lot of sitcoms. She was on Days of Our Lives. She was on Soul Train, and the premise of the show is Arsenio Hall played Michael Atwood. He was a host of a sports cable show in Atlanta, and Vivica A. Fox's character was Vivian, and she was a lawyer. And the other members of the cast was Kevin Dunn, very talented actor. He was a lot of movies, a lot of television. Also, there was Alan, let me pronounce his name, Alan E. Ballard. He played Vivica A. Fox's younger brother. And also, there was Shawnee Smith, which I discussed in the last podcast episode. She was in All Is Forgiven, and the series that starred Bess Armstrong, and she played her Vivian's best friend. And that lasted 7 seasons. I remember this was heavily promoted, at that time, and the ratings were terrible. And I did not watch it when it aired. I don't know why, but I did watch the first episode on YouTube recently, and I liked the show. Arsenio Hall is very talented, very calm. He's a funny man. I like him. I like him a lot, and I guess that's how it is. I liked him in Coming in America with Eddie Murphy. It's funny enough. So I'm going to play the what's that called? This is the pilot episode, and here's the theme song for Arsenio, the TV series. Okay, so here we go. Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Arsenio. I'm going to talk a little bit about Arsenio Hall. I remember he was like a stand-up comic, and he was the announcer and sidekick to that short-lived talk show Thick of the Night, which starred Alan Thicke from Growing Pains. I remember the show, and that was heavily promoted, and but that didn't last long. And he was famous for his comedy film Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. Wonderful movie. I like that. Then the Late Show that starred Joan Rivers. Remember when she went to Fox and she had her own late night talk show? I liked the show and she was great, but everything fell apart and she left. And he took over as the host of the show in 1987. He was very good. Then he was offered his own show, and that lasted from 1989 to 1994. I watched it quite a while. I watched that. The audience were chanting in the out there going woof woof woof. I remember that. That was a pop culture thing like that. And when that ended, he appeared in other shows and that, and then he had another talk show that premiered in 2013, and that was canceled one season, so that's too bad, And then but I like him. He was a great show. And it was a great show. That is, and it was a nice. He's a wonderful man, very talented. Makes me laugh. Okay. Next up, we have the television drama Kane. And this was a good drama. I remember this when it was the advertisement for this show. And it premiered on CBS September 25th, 2007, ended December 18th, 2007. I only had 13 episodes, as usual. And it had a good cast. And it starred Jimmy Smits from LA Law, NYPD Blue. You remember him from that. And he portrayed Alex Vega, and he was adopted son, and he was chosen to as an heir to the family sugar and rum business in, I think, Miami, in South Florida, that is. And so there was like a conflict, with the family members. That's what most primetime soaps do. That's how it is. And like I said before, it had a wonderful cast. And let's see who was in the cast. I will tell you. There was Hector Elizondo. You know him everywhere. Last Man Standing, Chicago Hope. Wonderful actor. Also, Nestor Carbonell. Do you remember him from Suddenly Susan? The sitcom that starred Brooke Shields. Also, there was the other well-known person that was in the show was Rita Moreno. Anything she did was magic. She was great. I loved her. And didn't do very well, with the ratings wise. So that's a shame. It really was. And it looked pretty good. I didn't see the show when it aired. So now I watched a portion of it on YouTube, and it was pretty good. It was like very, promoted like that. So right now I'm going to play a promo of the show, Kane, not the theme song. So it's about, let's see, I forgot the time, almost 3 minutes, but it goes very quickly. So you enjoy. You would listen to Jimmy Smits and other actors, and I liked it. It was very good. So here is the promo for the television drama Kane. Thank you, everyone.
Season on Kane.
Congratulations, Mr. CEO.
When a natural-born son is passed over, it makes for a very bad feeling.
Frank was not ready to take over the business.
Alex Vega stole your birthright. Don't be the good son, Frank. Take back what's yours.
How long have you been sleeping with Ellis Samuels?
That's none of your damn business.
You made it my business, Frank.
I want to make sure that I'm not being played.
By Alex?
But yeah.
How much?
500,000 gets the job done.
How much we need?
$500,000.
No problem. We take care of everything.
About that VIP room. Got outside funding. A group of Israeli businessmen.
Some of these businessmen are in control of a lot of the ecstasy market.
I can't have your guys dealing in here. It's such disrespect.
They sicked a pit bull on him. They beat him to the ground.
Word was put out, he had to lay off.
Somebody's protecting him.
The feds.
They don't just get away with this, man.
Body that disappeared, it can come back.
I will never pay blackmail. Send a scorpion to my house where my family lives.
We get rid of Quinones' body. It won't matter what Miguel says.
I had a visit from a friend of yours last night. Told me Quinones is dead and that you're the one who had him killed. Guess I'll have to call my friends at the police station.
You're going to tell them about the little girl you had kidnapped and killed?
When I have to kill someone, can I really do it?
When the time comes, Jamie, you'll do what you have to.
Quinones was shot and killed before he went into the drink.
Alex, please tell me you had nothing to do with this.
I would never let anything happen to you, to my family.
Rebecca and I are engaged.
Congratulations.
Thanks, my mom loves you.
Well, she doesn't want you to marry me.
You have blown off MIT, you've enlisted, and now you're engaged.
Having any second thoughts?
I know your cancer has returned. How long?
6 months.
No.
They were wrong before, and they're wrong now.
I'm sorry about your father.
He's your father, too.
Are you sure you want to do this?
It's what has to be done.
Taquilla de justicia.
Choke on it.
I have to trust you, Santo.
No good poker player folds a winning hand.
I don't play poker.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the promo for Kane. That was pretty good. I will talk about Jimmy Smits right now. You know, he was in a lot of television, and he was best known in L.A. Law, of course, as Victor Fuentes, and also in NYPD Blue, which I mentioned with Dennis Franz. He played Detective Bobby Simone, and he was also in The West Wing. I remember that. You know, and wow, that was something. You know, and here's a little trivia about him. When Miami Vice first aired in 1984, and he played Sonny Crockett, played by Don Johnson. He played his original partner, and in the first 5 minutes, he was killed in a car bomb. So you know, I rewatched it a long time ago to see that, and that was him. Yeah, so that was interesting, like that. Also, he also played a repairman in Pee Wee's Playhouse. So I saw that on TV, and that was funny, you know. And he was also in Star Wars, Attack of the Clones in 2002. Also, 2000 Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith. And the other Star Wars. So he played Senator Bail Organa of Alderaan. Oh, I saw that. That was pretty good. He was pretty good in that. And he was also in the TV series Dexter. I remember that. And you know, he also played in 2018. He played Elijah Strait in the drama on NBC called Bluff City Law. That didn't last very long. So he's still acting to this day. He's very talented. I like him a lot. Okay. Last show I will talk about now is the sitcom 9JKL. And you're wondering yourself, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. So the show premiered on October 2nd, 2017, ended February 5th, 2018. And I had a good cast. There was Mark Feuerstein. You remember him from Royal Pains on the USA Network. Also, there was Elliot Gould and Linda Lavin. So Mark Feuerstein played Josh Roberts, and Elliot Gould and Linda Lavin played their parents, Harry Roberts and Judy Roberts. Also, there was Liza Lapira. She played Eve Roberts. David Walton as Andrew Roberts. And there was also Albert Tay as Ian, and Matt Murray as Nick. And the reason for 9JKL was he moves back to New York, and his apartment was the apartment he lived in the building was apartment 9K. Okay. And his family lived in adjacent apartments. His parents lived in 9J, and his brother and sister-in-law and their newborn baby lived in 9L. So it was like that. So they all lived together on the same floor, next door to each other. And that the plot lines just flourished. Excuse me. So I watched the show. I remember it. It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. Linda Lavin, of course, the best. Elliot Gould, I like him a lot, you know. And they had some guest stars on the show. One that stood out was Christina Pickles. She starred in Friends with Elliot Gould. I remember that. And also there was Fred Willard, Phil Morris, Greg Morris's son. Also, there was Sherry O'Terry. You remember her from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, she guest starred on the show. And didn't do well in the ratings. Only ran for 16 episodes. So when I come back, when I play the theme, I'm going to play the theme song, and when I come back, I'll talk about a little more about Mark Feuerstein. Because he's a very talented actor, and the theme song is very brief, very short. It's like zip, it's done. Okay, so here we go.
Joshy, it's your mother.
Bro, you in there?
It's Dad.
How great is it that we live next door to each other? Hello?
Why are you ignoring me?
I know you're in there. I can hear you breathing.
9JKL, new this fall.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for 9JKL. Very brief, went like that. I will talk about Mark Feuerstein briefly. He's a very talented actor. He appeared in his first television role was as a cop in the soap opera Loving. Do you remember that? Yeah, and he was in a movie Practical Magic from 1998. That was a good movie. I like that. And he was also in Sex and the City, and he played in The West Wing. And his famous role, because he started in a lot of television shows that didn't survive. It was like, like that. And but his famous television role was in the television show Royal Pains. And that ran on the USA Network from 2009 to 2016. It was a pretty good show. I like the show. I've seen a few episodes like that. And he's still acting to this day, so that's great. And hopefully you'll find another successful television show. That'd be wonderful. Okay. Whew. So that's it for this episode. So I will do a recap of what I discussed. And so here we go. From the 1950s, I talk about the TV crime drama Decoy. From the 1960s, the television sitcom Captain Nice. From the 1970s, the superhero series The Amazing Spiderman. Also, from the 1980s, the comedy drama Beverly Hills Buntz. From the 1990s, the television sitcom Arsenio. From the 2000s, the television drama Kane. And last but not least, from the 2010s, the sitcom 9JKL. So that's an interesting line about it today. I'm glad I chose it. So thank you for joining me. I had a good time with the show. This will be published wherever podcasts are available. Any apps you want to, tap. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, if you'd like. Also, Crackle, Overcast, Castbox, I think. And it'll also be posted on my YouTube channel, TV Oblivion. So if you don't want to bother listening on an app, go to YouTube, do a search, and type in TV Oblivion. You will find it. It'll be posted probably this afternoon, and it'll be ready for you to listen. Okay, so this is Pete Costanos, host of TV Oblivion, the podcast. I hope everyone will have a wonderful day, and Tuesday's my birthday, so yeah, I'm not. I said this on my other podcast, Vanna Chicagoland Stories. I'm not going to do any podcast that day, so I'm taking a break. I will probably do another episode of TV Oblivion this weekend, so it'll be episode 20. Oh, how time flies. So bye-bye, everyone. And right now I'm going to play the ending theme song, Pick and Pluck. So hope to hear from you soon. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.